What's up guys, King Crisis here. Welcome to the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Welcome to What Deku was the Incredible Hulk. Now before I go into this video, if you guys have any video recommendations, comment them down below. I got a few videos in the making, and I say a few, about 2 or 3. I got a Fire Quirk Deku, I have a Noob Saibot Naruto, I have a Black Naruto, King Von Naruto, Smoke Release Naruto, it's a hood Naruto. And I have Garo Deku, and I have this current video, Incredible Hulk Deku. So, please comment down below some video recommendations. I'm open to any and all at this time. That includes Dragon Ball, Black Clover, My Hero Academia, Naruto, 7 Deadly Sins. I'm open to all suggestions. A King Crisis video will not be a video that I will be accepting though. And it's not because I don't want to do the video, it's because that video typically just, it's hard to make. It's really hard to make and it doesn't get what I actually want. So with that being the case, since it doesn't get what I want, I don't typically do those videos anymore. But if the comment gets enough likes, I'll do it. I won't hesitate to do it. But that's only if it gets enough likes and enough, attention. With that being said, let's start this video. Izuku Midoriya. Born the same way he was in the original timeline, a quirkless young boy. Most of Izuku's life plays out like normal until Izuku's father returns home. Izuku is around 6 years old when his father made his return. Izuku's father was known as the Metamorphic Man. His powers gave him the ability to, well, essentially absorb any texture that he touches, and he's able to become completely that texture itself. He's able to absorb stone to gain enhanced strength and durability. He's able to touch metal and gain enhanced strength and enhanced speed. He's able to touch basically any surface and become that surface. He also has the power to do the same thing with elements. Touching fire, he can become a flaming man. Izuku's father was incredibly powerful, but he didn't even use his powers most of the time as a hero. He focused on his studies, the studies of science. And that is because this very science that he focused on is the very thing that gave him his powers. The thing that turned him into the Metamorphic Man was his research on gamma radiation. And well, Hasashi focused all of his time on recreating the same accident that gave him his powers in order to give those same powers to Izuku. Hasashi became obsessed with this, and he failed on several occasions to actually reset the accident. He failed to remake it. He failed over and over and over again, and this led to Hasashi becoming a bit unstable. He wanted Izuku to have a quirk by any means necessary, and he would have done no matter what it took. For years, that's what Hasashi focused on. Years until Izuku was 12 years old. This is where things got crazy. You see, due to him focusing all of his time on Izuku, he became angry because he could never attempt it. No matter what he tried, it was never safe, it was never a good place to attempt it, and even then, the things he did attempt, they all failed. They all failed. Every last one of them failed. Failure after failure after failure after failure. They all failed! It drove him with such anger, and eventually Hasashi began to take that anger out on his family. He became abusive, he became a sort of a drunk, and even though he could have the money and he had everything he wanted, the one thing Hasashi wanted was for one, his son to live up to his legacy. Hasashi Midoriya is a brilliant science, a brilliant support tech creator, and as well as a very powerful pro hero. And he just feels embarrassed, knowing that his son doesn't even possess a quirk. So, it drove him mad. And so eventually, here we are. Hasashi, after many years, finally had enough time. He grabbed Izuku and he threw him into the chamber. This will be about his 4th time doing this. He doesn't care though. He wants Izuku to gain a quirk. And now, he has the perfect chance to make it happen. He slams him within this thing. He activates it. And as soon as he activates it, Izuku lets off a screech of pure, unimaginable pain. The machine activates, and it begins to go out of control, with Hasashi just pressing buttons, not even caring about what does what. He's just spamming button after button after button after button before he slams his hands onto the machine. Damn it! He would scream. As he does so, suddenly his powers would activate, and he would absorb a fraction of the machine, but Hasashi does something unexpected. He shoots the same radiation that he has stored up inside of himself out, and in turn, he completely blows up the machine, causing a massive boom to go off. An explosion so powerful it eradicated Hasashi, eradicated Inko, and destroyed the large city they were in, with there only being 2 survivors. A giant, glowing red monster in the center, green monster in the center, and a young kid, Kazuki Bakugo. Everything else, gone. And there, Izuku, in his Hulk state, goes on an uncontrollable rampage. He destroys the entire city around him, and well, he just begins to destroy everything. At this point, I'm gonna say he's 8 years old, rampaging through the city, obliterating everything that come close to him. Nothing was able to actually reach Izuku, as Izuku destroyed everything. Even top tier pro heroes, even pro heroes in training, pro heroes such as Mount Lady grew to gigantic size, and she tries to use her strength in her giant form to stop the monster, but Izuku's able to catch her, and he's able to fling her around, a giant woman, and throw her through building after building after building. And not only was this the case, pro heroes such as Hulk, Endeavor, and even the strongest of the strongest couldn't stop Izuku. It all took down until eventually 2 very powerful men showed up. That being All For One, who wanted to take this kid's power. He's seen what he was doing. He's seen the city he was destroying. This is a prime All For One, mind you, and a prime All Might. All Might seen All For One. He's seen a monster, and realized that he had to face both. But unbeknownst to him, Izuku wasn't for All For One. And as the battle would begin, All Might would begin to destroy All For One, but eventually Izuku sees the 2 powerful figures. After all, he just defeated most of the heroes around him, and he attacks both of them. In a blind rage, he rushes forward, he delivers a destructive punch to All For One, and sends him flying, before turning and delivering a destructive punch to All Might, and also sending him flying. All Might was sent flying as he slammed through several buildings, and All For One is also slammed through several buildings. Both of them get up in severe amounts of pain, never even feeling this much pain in either of their lives. As they both get up, they see Izuku, who lets off a large roar, a roar of pure power. Everyone there would wonder, what the hell is that? All Might would slowly get up, and so would All For One, with both of them getting upwards for just a split instant. For once, All Might and All For One had the same thought process. They have to take this thing down. And believe it or not, together, All For One and All Might had to fight Izuku together. And they were the only people who had the power to take down Izuku. With both All For One and All Might literally teaming up, using all their strength and power, they eventually managed to destroy Izuku. And in the end, when the smoke settled, Izuku would be laid out, but so would All Might and All For One. With All For One's face being absolutely obliterated and All Might having a ruthless cut, a wound so horrific in his stomach that this couldn't be shown to the public. Quickly, they scooped up the body of All For One, declaring him as dead. And well, All Might clinging on to life, and they took Izuku into a facility, put as much quirk counseling material all around the building. It is, of course, until the scientists and the doctors realize this kid is quirkless. This kid, this freak of nature, this monster, this freaking monster is quirkless. The information hits everyone within the facility, and they become terrified because there's no way. They did several tests, but then they realized who this kid is. This is Izuku Midoriya, son of Hasashi Midoriya, the same man who developed powers from his own experiments. And they quickly come to the conclusion, pretty much immediately, Hasashi had to have been experimenting on his own son for this to happen. This brings fear into everyone there, because this is insane. There's no way Hasashi did this. There's no way Hasashi transformed his own son into a monster. From here, they found the city that was destroyed, and they took in the 2 people that were there. Well, the only thing that was alive, that being Kazuki Bakugo, and well, formerly Izuku Midoriya. When they brought Kazuki into the same place as Izuku, they realized something very insane. The kid Kazuki Bakugo could transform into a towering red figure who seemed to be fully conscious, unlike the other kid, Izuku. They see what Izuku is, they see what Kazuki is, and quickly they begin to put all of their time and energy into training the young Kazuki Bakugo. Because when Kazuki Bakugo gets angry, he transforms, and he realizes that that is the key to both of their powers, anger. And due to Kazuki Bakugo's personality, it's kind of hard to tell when he's actually angry. But when the kid does get mad, he enters a red state. And they learn the way his powers work is the angrier he gets, the hotter he gets, and the stronger his explosions get. Not only is that the case, this same kid was already, in terms of strength, equivalent to All Might. And then they realized he has to be stronger than Izuku. Or at least that's what they thought. Until one day they let an angry Izuku loose, and well, a fight is not something you can call it. Even with Bakugo reaching pinnacles of anger, hating Izuku because he blames Izuku for everything that happened, in the end, he was just not powerful enough to defeat an enraged Deku. It took everything they had to take him down, and even Bakugo couldn't do it. Even at his full strength, they realized that he has a limit. Izuku doesn't. Bakugo can overheat. Izuku cannot overgrow. There's no limit on his power. He was a threat. He was a problem, and there was nothing they could do to really stop the kid. All they could do was teach him self-control. And that's what they did for years. The next, I'd say 8, story starts off when they were like 14. So like the next few years. That's what they do. They trained Izuku relentlessly. The next 6 years. By the time that Izuku is 14, Izuku has learned how to transform into his Hulk state, but he's also learned how to partially transform. Similar to Smart Hulk, Izuku's able to partially transform his body, becoming a bit of a smaller version of Hulk, but he has self-control. But of course, when necessary, he can let himself loose and allow the Incredible Hulk to take control. They've also befriended the Incredible Hulk at this point. Izuku realizes what the Incredible Hulk is. It's like a subconscious. Basically, it protects Izuku, and Izuku is happy. He's happy that this thing is here. It's power. And he realized that Hulk has limits. And those limits are very simple. His intelligence. You see, he doesn't have any actual limits. Like legitimate limits. Yeah, no, he does not have. But his intelligence, that's something that really, 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 really holds him back. And he needs it. He needs that intelligence. So of course, Izuku is his side of intelligence. Izuku is the smart factor. And Izuku teaches Hulk new things. Such as the fact that he learns that he can create a shield of gamma radiation around himself and others. And yes, I did take that ability from Marvel Rivals. He learns how to create thunderclaps. He teaches the Incredible Hulk that he can actually fuel others with gamma radiation, making them stronger, but it can also temporarily, become Hulks like themselves. And Izuku realized that power is incredible. We cannot forget, guys, the Incredible Hulk has so many abilities that just are underutilized. Such as the fact that he can literally shoot gamma from his hands. He has super speed. He has enhanced intelligence because Hulk is brilliant, okay? People don't understand this. Hulk is kind of dumb, okay? But Hulk's smart as fuck. Let's not underestimate him. Like, he has things that he's smart in. Gamma radiation is the Incredible Hulk's genius, okay? Gotta point this out. And some people be like, obvious, he's made of gamma radiation, but Hulk is very smart. Hulk can also emit gamma energy. He can emit a gamma scream that basically can control other weaker Hulks. Like, Incredible Hulk got some powers that just aren't used. So I'm going to make Deku use those powers. The ability to summon gamma radiation, the ability to shoot out radiation, the ability to control radiation like a nuclear man, because that's what the Hulk is. Deku's going to use those powers. So don't be surprised when I make Deku shoot out gamma blast of energy, or I make him be able to fly. Which of course, All Might can fly off using pure strength alone, so pretty sure the Hulk could do the same thing if he really wanted to. So, yeah. From here, will Izuku finally be considered controllable enough to let out into the public? Here's where Izuku really takes shine. Because UA does not make him do any tests. They immediately have Izuku put into UA. Because no recommended exams, no normal exams. Izuku simply has to watch the exams with the other teachers. And that's what he does. He watches the other exams take place and he watches as the zero pointer is activated. Now as the zero pointer gets activated, Izuku will quickly partially transform, or from here he will jump down and catch the zero pointer's leg. Izuku looks upward towards it with a bit of a sinister smile. He jumps upwards into the air and delivers a punch that literally uppercutted the Zero Pointer's head clean off with a massive boom bin release, a powerful shockwave. He then literally mid-air turns and flies back down Marvel vs. Capcom style as he used the same head, he used Zero Pointer's head to destroy the rest of its body. From here, he would land before Ochako. Ochako sees him, and she knows who Izuku is. The world is aware of that monster. And quickly, she becomes terrified. But Izuku would shrink down to his normal form. As he holds out his hand, he quickly would apologize, saying he's sorry. He knows it can be a bit intimidating. She looks towards him. He would back. Oh, okay. It's okay. I'm sorry, he would say. And he walks away. Ochako could do nothing but just think of fear. Pure, undeniable fear. Seeing Izuku terrified her. Everyone in the world knew what Izuku was. He was a monster. And part of Deku aches hearing this information. And now he watches Bakugo take the entrance exams, not because he wanted to. Well, not because he could. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to. Bakugo wanted to take the exams. So Izuku watches him do so. And he watches as Bakugo obliterates robot after robot with his pure physical strength, or just exploding them away with explosions comparable to mini nukes. Bakugo went on a rampage, and well, there was nothing any of them could do to stop him. Izuku smiles seeing this, and he looks towards him. I was pretty surprised there. He has a quirk and everything, and you're still stronger than him, as I would say. Deku looks forward before saying, it's because I have more radiation inside of me. And because my DNA is more compatible with it. It's something that my great-grandfather or some shit. It's something that just exists within our blood. It makes me more compatible. Me and my family. But Kazuki, his family is also compatible, but it's almost on a different wavelength. They're not compatible enough to survive. Not all of them, at least. The only reason Bakugo managed to survive is because, well, he's different. He's Bakugo. As they watch Armor, they would say, creating powerful explosions, emitting powerful waves of heat and power. You can do that, right? Izuku shakes his head no. He can just emit waves of energy. Pure, undeniable power and energy. Bakugo is heat. I'm power, he would say. From here, we would time skip on over towards the first day of Aizawa's training. And well, the ball throw and that test, Izuku and Bakugo are both exempt from doing it. Because, well, Aizawa already knows that if these two do any of these tests, they're gonna get first place. And it's not even fair. Izuku will be first, Bakugo will be second, so he chose not to make them do it. Everything takes place around Izuku and Bakugo in a hero versus villains, which of course, Deku would walk inside. And of course, his opponent would be Bakugo and Todoroki. And Deku will be on the team with Mineta. Deku sees this and he realizes that, yeah, this isn't fair from the jump. But he looks forward. He looks towards Mineta and would sigh. Are you powerful? Mineta looks towards him and kind of shakes his head no. Deku would say, well, whatever. He cracks his neck as his skin begins to turn green and his eyes begin to glow. He enters a bit of a semi full power state. I say like half of his full power. That way he could be equivalent to Bakugo in size, mass, and strength. So as he enters this form, Bakugo would transform into his Red Hulk state. And well, this is the class's first time seeing Bakugo change, and they look confused. What? Wait, how did he do that? They would say. As I would say, Kazuki Bakugo. He's the only other survivor from the great explosion that the Incredible Hulk emitted when he was born. He's the only survivor because he also has the capability of becoming a monster like that. This causes everyone to look towards All Might shocked. Wait, you're telling me there's two of them? All Might would nod, saying that realistically, there could be more. We don't know. Izuku's father was one of them, Hasashi Midoriya. Wait, the metamorphic man? He was one of those things? Yes he was. He was one of them. A monster. Oh God, they would say. But from here, Izuku would crack his neck and he tells Mineta just to stay out of this. As Todoroki would quickly flash freeze the building with Bakugo's pure physical body just melting all the ice that is around him. From here, he would walk down the stairs and then he would say, you might want to get the shrimp out of here, Deku. Deku looks forward. No need. The little brat isn't going to get hurt as long as I'm here. Bakugo looks towards him. Yeah, right. As he launched an explosion and appeared in front of Izuku at psychotic speeds. Appears right in front of him and goes in and leaps an explosion dead at his face. A massive one. Boom! An explosion goes off with Deku literally waving his hand and creating a massive burst of wind that disperses Bakugo explosions. Bakugo says, "You think I can't do that too, brat?" As he would do the same thing, emitting a powerful burst of wind, just as Izuku did so. But Bakugo's burst of wind is a bit hot because, well, his body just naturally produces crazy amounts of heat. So pretty much no matter what he does, it's always going to have some type of heat involved with it. So he let off a burst of heat for wind that rushed towards Izuku. Izuku just lifted up his hands and covered his face as he blocks the burst of heat before rushing forward towards Bakugo and delivering a punch to his stomach. Bakugo will cough up a bit of blood as Izuku launched him into the air. He jumps upwards, grabbing Bakugo by the face as he slams him back down, and he actually slams right through the building, slamming him so far that he actually creates a massive crater around him. A crater so big that the actual whole building gets enveloped in it. As the building would fall a little bit, most of the building barely reaching the center of the crater correctly, the whole building would just shake, and Todoroki would have to freeze over it, that way it doesn't fall apart. Todoroki would just wonder, what the hell? As from here, Bakugo will be sent flying upwards towards where Todoroki is, just for Deku to also be sent flying back as well, slamming through wall after wall after wall. He gets upward. Die, you damn nerd! As he flies forward and goes in for a massive explosion. You killed my family, you bastard! Bakugo would yell. And Deku will block the explosions, barely this time around, as smoke begins to come off his arms. His arm is burned. Bakugo then would grab him by the hair as he delivers a punch to his face. Deku then would deliver a punch to his stomach. I didn't do it, he would yell. He then would say, bullshit! As the two of them begin to fight further and further and further, Aizawa then would think he's still saying that he killed his family. They had years to figure this out. Kazuki still hasn't admitted to the fact that Izuku didn't kill his family. As that fight begins to go on further and further, maybe he's just a kid. There's nothing I can really think about this. You see Deku, he jumps backwards, and instantly his hands begin to glow with a powerful green energy. He throws a powerful punch with a burst of pure energy released off of it on top of the powerful winds that were created. Well, a powerful shockwave knocks that motherfucker back, and he boom slams against the wall, where Bakugo will feel his own stomach burning. He looks down confused as he gets angry with his eyes glowing orange. Flames begin to explode off of Bakugo's body, and the class say, "Whoa, what's happening?" Aizawa then would say, Kazuki Bakugo, status Red Hulk, abilities, enhanced strength, speed, durability, immortality. Immortality, the class will say. Well, from what we know, you cannot kill these two. Izuku has been through a lot, and their skin is almost impossible to penetrate, aside from one another. And Bakugo blew his head off once, and Izuku regenerated from it, and so did he. Insane regeneration to the point where it's almost impossible to actually kill those two. They're problems. Monsters, both of them are. All Might will look forward. They're the only two people on this planet capable of keeping up with one another. And the class will turn towards All Might. But, All Might-san, that includes you. He would turn and nod. As then he looks forward towards a young Todoroki. As he watches the wrench go on, he would think, I have to make someone powerful enough to handle them. That means I have to pass on one for all to a young Todoroki, the most powerful kid here. Sure, Mirio will be powerful, he will be unstoppable, but I need someone who has more power than Mirio. Pure power, not just permeation. From here, we cut on over towards the match, with Deku jumping backwards and creating a gamma shield around Mineta. Mineta literally just runs upstairs and just looks at Todoroki, gets on his knees, and tells him to freeze him. And well, Todoroki tries to, but the gamma shield blocks it, and he realizes, oh shit, I'm unstoppable in here. So from here, we cut towards Deku as he clashes fists with Bakugo with bursts of power and heat flowing off of each of their attacks. As the fight begins to go on, Bakugo tells him, stop holding back, damn it! As he throws an explosion to Deku's stomach, Deku flings back. He looks towards me and will say, no need. You know what? You're never gonna learn. Hulk is the strongest there is! Deku would say as a powerful explosion goes off of his body and it flings Bakugo back. All Might says, oh god, as you see Deku, who's already bulked up tremendously, staring towards him in his incredible Hulk form. What the hell? Bakugo would wonder. As Deku cracks his knuckles, he booms towards him, delivering a powerful punch that launches him back. Deku runs forward towards him, jumps upwards into the air, and delivers another punch, creating a massive shockwave that flies off in all directions. With Bakugo being laid out on the ground, smoke coming off of his body, Deku walks forward towards him and places his foot on his chest. He stares towards him with glowing green eyes, and he begins to deliver punch after punch, shockwave after shockwave. At this point, Todoroki rushes downstairs and unleashes a powerful burst of ice, but the ice breaks upon contact with Deku's body. Deku turns and waves his hand, and a massive burst of wind smacks into Todoroki, with Deku jumping up or blitzing forward, delivering a ruthless punch, lays Todoroki out ASAP. Todoroki unconscious. Deku, that guy. Whew. From here, guys, I'm going to be taking my quick little break real quick. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my voice, and it's hot right now, like very hot. But I'll be back. From here, you see Deku as he stands over an unconscious Todoroki. He slowly turns and looks towards Bakugo. Bakugo looks towards Deku as he runs forward towards him, jumps upwards, and he literally grabs Deku in his Hulk state by the neck, and he begins to fuel all of his stored up power into his hands. As his hands grow massive, he begins to slowly choke Deku to the best of his ability. But Hulk begins to punch him in the stomach over and over and over and over, with Bakugo being thrown back. We cut on over towards the League of Villains, where there you would see All For One, who looks forward. We need something to kill him. We cannot let that monster live. We need something powerful. Anything. He's in the hands of the heroes, and we need someone capable of killing it off. Someone now! All For One would say. As there, Shigaraki would say, we'll need to draw its blood. We'll need to make it, draw its blood. Then we can experiment on its blood. Make it known with something powerful enough to contend with the beast. Good. Then we'll do just that. All For One would say. From here, we cut back on over towards Izuku, who punches Bakugo and he's flung back. Bakugo then lifts up his hand and he pulls the pin on his massive gauntlet. Now, this gauntlet worked very much so differently. You see, now they not only store up Bakugo's explosions, but also all the heat that builds up from his power being emitted. Meaning, kaboom, massive, boom, 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 9/11, boom, crazy explosion. Flings into Deku. Deku's flung back as he hits that wall and he lets off a screech of pain. When the smoke settles, you'll see a huge gap on Deku's side. Damn it! Well, there is a pure explosion flunging through this man's side. And there you see it. Deku, angry. Pure anger on his face. As his wound begins to regenerate, his bones begin to grow back, and the class see the speed that this man's just regenerated at. And Bakugo from here would kind of just close his eyes, realizing he lost it. As Deku vips forward and he smacks this man across the face, lay out. He's done for. And now, for the 300th time in this video today, we time skip to the class on the bus. No one this time around they're not discussing who's the strongest in the class, because undoubtedly strongest Deku, second Bakugo, Todoroki's third, but it's not like it's like a small gap, it's a crazy gap. But from here we cut on over towards All Might, who talks to Todoroki and explains to him the powers of One For All, and explains that he wants to give Todoroki One For All. Well, he tells him that he's giving him this power for one, it'll make Endeavor hella mad. And for two, it'll make Todoroki powerful enough to keep up with Izuku and Bakugo. And Todoroki would agree, not knowing that he still is not going to be powerful enough to keep up with Izuku and Bakugo. But he's going to be significantly closer. Is he going to be enough? Fuck no. But would he be closer? Yeah, I think he'll be closer. I think he'll be way closer. But from here, Todoroki accepts One For All. And well, he has to focus on a bit different training now, because let's just be real. Todoroki physically, he's more built than Deku. At least at this point in the story, he's more built than Deku. Is he gonna remain like that? Who knows? We'll find out. But from here, we cut on over towards the League of Villains showing up in the USJ, and Deku still being transported on over towards the water area. I see this actually playing out the exact same. Due to Deku having immense strength, more powerful than even One for All, I can see this playing out the exact same way. With Deku still making it on over towards where Aizawa was, and like normal Shigaraki, no, kill him! And Nomu rushes forward towards Deku, and well, I would call this a fight, I really would, but it's not. Deku absolutely eviscerates this thing. Even with the Nomu's enhanced strength, even with his enhanced speed. Genuinely. Can someone please tell me how y'all think this Nomu's gonna do anything differently? Sure, it has shock absorption. Sure, it has regeneration. Deku is too strong for both. He can emit punches so powerful they can crack the atmosphere. This Nomu does nothing to Deku. And as Shigaraki turns and looks towards Deku, he makes a bold move. Using Kurogiri's puddles, he basically touches Deku. And well, he succeeds in decaying him because decay is durability negation. And since it begins to decay Deku, Shigaraki is able to swipe enough of his blood. Swiping enough of Deku's blood, he has enough to make a Nomu powerful enough to contend with Deku. From here, Shigaraki would quickly swipe the blood, and quickly him and Kurogiri would portal out of there. After taking the blood, they would give the blood to Dr. Uchiko, who looks forward towards him, and he cracks a sinister smile. He tells Shigaraki, "You're gonna be the subject." And Shigaraki looks towards him confused, like, what? As he snatches him up, and I'm pretty sure you guys already know where this is going. Shigaraki's gonna be the abomination, because he gotta be Deku's #1 op. And with that being said, it's going to be ending off part 1 out of 2. Yes, it's a double upload today. I saw no reason as to not doing a double upload. And mostly because this one's a double upload because, well, for one, this video is a lot shorter than what I was expecting it to be. And I want to make the next part pretty long. So, we're going to end this off right here. And I'm going to probably dragging things out a bit more. Because, you know, I don't like short videos. With that being said, I'm out.